This is me, Joe, and I'm on another trip around the world. I just arrived from Finland. I'm in Iceland, and I'm going to head to Thailand after this. I call it the land tour. Finland, Iceland, and Thailand. But for the time being, I'm in Iceland, and that's what this vlog's all about. This might look familiar, this view, but it's not the Great American Road Trip, it's the Great Icelandic Road Trip. And I'm in a smaller car, much smaller, and it's manual. How about that? It's kind of refreshing to have a manual rental. It's also cheaper. Having these skills finally pays off. I'm traveling solo on this trip, so I'll show you where I went and provide some tips along the way. If you don't have an international cell phone plan and your rental doesn't have navigation, and if you're a bit rusty with your Icelandic, I highly recommend downloading an offline map app like Maps.me prior to arrival. Once I solved parking, I found the hostel, visited the common area, checked in, and now it's time to explore the city. After a hearty Icelandic dinner, I make friends with some locals and play foosball. The next morning, I meet a French girl named Emily, and I invite her and a friend that she had met to join me on my Golden Circle tour for the day. So we all hopped in the Beast, and we're off.
Smile.
Chart? Hello. The Golden Circle is a route that takes you to a few of the popular natural attractions on the southwest side of the island, and it's a must-see on any trip to Iceland. But first, we needed to make a pit stop for some of the passengers, if you know what I'm saying. Then we're back on the road driving through the majestic winter wonderland that Iceland is. You too. If you're going to Iceland, I would recommend renting an all-wheel drive SUV. It's going to be pricey, especially if you want automatic. All-wheel drive is required in many areas around Iceland, like F-roads. As you can see, I did not heed my own advice. The Beast is a front-wheel drive puny vehicle. I'm a rebel. It does have studded tires though. Our next stop is a geothermal area where we are able to observe underground heat interact with snow and ice. It's a pretty amazing sight. And of course, no trip to a geothermal area is complete without a geyser. This one happens to erupt every 6 to 10 minutes. The snow really adds another dimension of beauty to Iceland, but make sure you have waterproof clothing to protect yourself from the elements and, in this case, the mist. My channel is HitchhikeWithJoeMike, and so I'm in Iceland, and I ran into two French girls, and they decided to hitchhike with JoeMike and see Iceland.
Hi guys. Well, it's quite nice for 3 hours of road, something like this.
We're very happy to have found you.
Yeah.
We had a great time. We were all naked in the snow. It was lovely.
Almost.
A bit cold, I would say.
We did a lot of experiences with snow today. We would not say anything about it. Well, thank you to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. It was a lovely hitchhiking experience. Yeah, absolutely.
We had fun.
Yeah.
Well, it was my pleasure as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe.
Hitchhike with JoeMike.
Tried it.
Well, I can't follow that up with anything, so moving on. Today I'm going to the Blue Lagoon. Now I have to admit, the Blue Lagoon is expensive and touristy, but you should still go. It's worth the experience.
Heading to the Blue Lagoon today. Met a lot of great people. Saw a lot of amazing scenery. And looking forward to some more.
Schedule your appointment at the Blue Lagoon to be a couple of hours prior to sunset. That gives you enough time to get there, settle in, shower, and grab your drink at the Lagoon bar before the sun sets. Although you have to be there within an hour of your reserved time slot, you can stay there as long as you'd like through closing. Keep in mind that I visited Iceland in the winter, as is evident from the ice forming on my hair. The Blue Lagoon is probably much busier than this during the summertime. I'm leaving the Blue Lagoon right now, where it's freezing outside, but the water is 100 degrees. It's pretty amazing. Although my hair did freeze. but I tried the silica mask, which I think did pretty well. I'm looking more handsome than usual. And now, before I leave Iceland, the big thing is the elusive Northern Lights, which I still have not seen. So we'll see. Hopefully I can see them before I leave Iceland. I return to the hostel and Emily stops by as well. We watch a few bands play at the hostel. So I just had breakfast at the hostel and I'm about to head to the closest glacier in Iceland and do some snowmobiling and see some ice caves. The drive to the glacier was a couple hours and initially the weather was not very cooperative.
It's a bit foggy up here.
But soon it did clear up and the snow was gone, a testament to the many microclimates of Iceland. In order to get onto the glacier, it is time to trade in the beast for, well, this monstrosity. As we get further into the glacier, the terrain becomes more treacherous. At one point, a bulldozer plows the way before us. Once we get off the bigger beast, the view on the glacier is beautiful. I suit up, mount my GoPro, and when all systems are go, I drop the visor in place and I'm ready to go. I recommend coupling the ice cave with the snowmobile tour. Not because the ice cave is that amazing, it really isn't. The reason is that tour is usually less crowded so you get to ride longer and faster since there isn't a large group of people to ride with. I was the only one on my tour and the two American guys I met decided to upgrade mid-tour and join me.
That was fun.
We saw only one guy on the ice tour, we saw like 50 other people.
Oh, so you guys bought into the ice tour?
Yeah, that's right.
Nice, awesome.
So what I told him, like, we're going to check out the cave, and then we'll probably have a little more time to go a little bit higher up. And higher up on the glacier. Take like 5 minutes.
Good for everybody. We saw everybody there and we said, yeah, this is
Everybody goes right, you go left.
That's right. It almost looks like rock.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a glacier.
There's so much volcanic ash in the ice. So this ice is very good to use in your whiskey.
Yeah?
Yeah, it melts 10 times slower than a regular ice cube.
All this ice is also good for me.
So I know it's a little bit dark, but I left my glacier tour about an hour and a half ago. I'm still about halfway to Reykjavík, and I found this place. It's kind of snowing, it has Christmas decorations up. There's some mountains right here that you can't see, and it looked like the perfect place in the middle of nowhere to have dinner. After pulling some strings to get my name to the top of the reservation list, I'm seated, and I ordered the chef's special, horse. And it was so good! Don't judge. Food in the Reykjavík area is decent. There are things you must try like the all-you-can-eat fisherman's favorite at Icelandic street food. It's mashed potatoes and fish. There are plenty of stews and meats to try in Iceland. And not for the faint of heart, there's rotten shark. Yeah, it's terrible. And minke whale. As my time in Iceland draws to a close, I want to leave you with one last tip beyond the 7 I have discussed so far, and it relates to the Northern Lights. I tried every night for a week and didn't get the chance to see them either because solar activity wasn't cooperating or clouds were covering up the show. My recommendation is to cross this off of your bucket list as soon as possible upon arrival to maximize your chances of success.
The light out.
And with that, I am off to Thailand.